A man is being ordered to pay $400,000 to Kim Kardashian over a trademark lawsuit. He's living out of his car. And he's posting this website, KimKardashianRuinedMyLife.com, which is basically all young women on Instagram. They should be posting that same website, to be honest. Summary, this guy came up with the idea for Kimoji. Thank God I've never heard of that before. And had a verbal agreement with Kim. Mistake! Kim's team randomly calls him one day to ask if he trademarked the name already. He said no. Mistaker to maker number 2. 5 minutes later, Kim's team trademarked it and basically stole the entire thing. He unsuccessfully sued them, and he's now being ordered to pay the Kardashians $400,000 legal fees, including garnishing his wages, even though they are billionaires, and he's currently living out of his car. That is fucking mad as a story. Holy shit. So we've got the full website here, the full story. We're going to go into it because this seems like just a crazy thing to read about. Kim and Kris in their most blatant ideas theft yet. And again, I like looking at stuff like this because I hate influencers. I just hate this culture. And these people are the worst human beings on the planet, especially at this stage. Billionaires stealing ideas from people. I know I'm naive, right? I don't think of corporations being our friends, but individuals, you billionaires, just stop doing stuff like this. You can throw a few crumbs down to the lowly peasants, can't you? Down to the serfs toiling away in the fields. I'm building this site on my iPhone and trying to gain momentum for this in my spare time while working 2 jobs and camping in my car. Please share. We're doing it, mate. We got you. There are quite a few exhibits of evidence. I'll add a whole section to this site for emails, text, screenshots, original art for emojis, a recording, and over 20 individuals that had involvement and be witnesses. This all started when Kardashian was using our app we had on the Apple Store named Sensorgram. On Sensorgram, you can add keywords, emojis, or phrases that you wanted automatically removed from your Instagram comments. Oh, so that it is literally just a censoring program for Instagram. Interesting. Kim obviously had a need for it. She used our app and reached out to me by phone to discuss being the face as well as partner. Wow. Kim reached out personally. And then a few weeks later, we met and made the initial partnership agreement at Kris's house in Calabasas, California. After that is when it all got weird. I lost everything while Kardashian went on to make many millions off an idea she had nothing to do with creating. She also interfered with a patent I had filed for a process that now is used by Instagram to automatically remove comments on social media. So this could have been worth tens, if not hundreds of millions of dollars. But Kardashian never explained her part in this interference or why she discussed our IP with Kevin Systrom, ex-CEO of Instagram, without permission after her and her team signed our NDA, non-disclosure agreement, to get our patent file. Man, so she signed an NDA to get access to a patent file, then gave it to the ex-CEO of Instagram who implemented it into Instagram, and this guy's been paid nothing for it, and he lost in court by the sounds of it. At the time, Instagram had no intention of using automated comment control. Then less than 18 months after Kardashian interferes in our process, it's in Instagram's settings. Myself or my partners received nothing for any of it yet. I did more below. I promise I'll fix the website soon. Kim can win an award for her acting job with the other partner, Narayan. In 2014, the face-to-face meeting with Sensorgram was in Calabasas, and at this point, she's never even heard the name Kimoji or thought of herself as an emoji, as most of us don't do. I generally spend my days not thinking of myself as an emoji, but I'm not a billionaire, so what do I know? Maybe that's common in the billionaire circles. Elon Musk, he's a bit of a fucking emoji, isn't he? Emojis weren't as big as they are now, keep in mind. All went well for the Sensorgram part. We discussed shares, what platforms we want to bring this to, legal stuff like us getting them our file with our provisional US patent info for the process we created, etc., etc. Her team signed our NDA for that. The importance of this comes up when we talk more about Sensorgram later. Then at the end of the meeting, we pitched the mock-up Kimojis, and Kim absolutely loved the idea. Kimoji became all that mattered. We agreed to split 50-50 on Kimoji. After the meeting, we received a call and were told by Kim's team that we needed to be coached to handle working with an A-list celebrity. Yeah, okay. This gets extra scandalous during this few-week period of time following the meeting. My family and I are on cloud nine with the thought of our new agreement with Kim and, of course, all the success we'd have together. This is like a feel-good story, right? Apart from the fact he's working with Kim Kardashian, but, you know, you get your money, you get your money. It doesn't matter who it's with. Fuck it. And then, of course, you realise that these billionaires are literal, vile, reprehensible, just fucking slime. Then out of the blue, Kim contacts us to ask if we've trademarked Kimoji, and everything was good, but they would go ahead and do that to be helpful. Oh no. Literally 5 minutes later, Kim calls and is shocked, asking, "Who's Ryan?" and all distraught. Oh, so is she faking it? It's like, oh no, someone who has nothing to do with us, definitely, stole the trademark. That's crazy. How could he have known? He must have been outside the window listening this whole time. Apparently, without my knowledge, one of our partners took a picture of some words on a page that Kim used in our Sensorgram app. No user handle or private info, just a little clip of a screenshot to brag, privately between him and a friend. Well, this friend was jealous and actually had a friend in Chicago that knew someone in Kim and Kanye's world. Narayan's friend, Alex Gorodetsky, is friends with Gene Brusilovsky, and he's close to Jonathan Chaban, who is obviously friends with Kim. I don't know who any of these fucking people are, thank God. They intentionally sent the screenshot in hopes it would interfere. It did. Gene admitted to this at a party in Chicago and how it was done intentionally to hurt Narayan potentially and disrupt the partnership with Kardashian. Kim backed out and threatened to sue us for $5 million if we didn't hand over Kimoji rights and give her the ability to do her own comment control app, which blocked our patent hopes. The Kimoji trademark was filed by Kim's company 5 minutes after her staged phone call. So to be clear, she called us and asked if we trademarked Kimoji, stating all is a go-ahead. Sounding excited. Then 5 minutes later, after her team secured the trademark, she called us asking who is Ryan and why he is spreading her info, which nothing of that sort was ever done. This is fraud through and through. She's gotten away with it until now because she's incredibly wealthy. Yes, the courts literally pay to win. Aside from this, a few years later, we noticed Instagram added the process we created for Sensorgram to their settings after their CEO at the time, Kevin Systrom, told Kim clearly they wouldn't use that type of comment control. Kim, Kanye, and former IG CEO used to hang out. There is media out there of them all. Kanye at that time was wanting to, quote, fix Instagram, aged very, very well. This is all why it's extra shady because of that relationship and them going to IG headquarters to discuss this. She's never answered for any of this. There's more. Stay tuned. Kim and Chris have used this tactic of taking ideas before. Who'd have thought? Greedy, exploitative billionaires. Who would have guessed? Social media influence. Shortly after we noticed Instagram using our process, we found some very alarming evidence in our old emails. Remember when Kim called us asking who's Ryan and why is he sending her info around Chicago? Well, she damn well knew who Narayan was. I introduced him in the email as Narayan, and she replied nice to meet him as Ryan. Several instances back then, their team referred to Narayan as Ryan. I mean, it is easier. I'm probably saying his name wrong anyway. But yeah, Ryan is definitely easier. So that means she knew of this before we signed their NDA at the meeting in California. She kept this in her pocket to use against us and lured us in to get our comment control app, Sensorgram. Then she got Kimoji too and wasn't even expecting that part. I'll add more about our last attorney, Robert Hantman, but he told me to withdraw the lawsuit and try to see where arbitration goes. Nowhere, that's where. And no one knows why Hantman suggested that. I went in debt over that lawsuit, so now I'm getting creative and I won't shut up about it. Good idea. Use social media pressure. Unfortunately though, these people have millions of rabid fans who do not give a fuck. They will literally defend anything that these people do. They're just zombies. They're zealots in the pure literal sense. So public pressure, I don't even know what that does if you've lost already legally. Then again, it's probably not with prejudice. When I was researching past cases, I reached out to them all and all were bound by confidentiality. We had several emoji projects already started before we met Kim. Wall Street emojis and a sexy emojis app. I know it's this guy's business and I feel bad for him, but I do despair at this concept. It makes me despair. So we just took some existing images and then did some of her, Chris and Kanye for fun, to see if they'd like the idea. Kimoji was just a side project idea we added to impress her. We figured she would be excited to see it and do that project while we develop Sensorgram. I'll elaborate more on how that turned into the Kimoji idea later today. Back to the fraud for the Kimoji trademark. So because Kim didn't want to partner, she used that harmless screenshot meant to be private to threaten us and cause internal turmoil. We had no idea what was going on. The threatening letter from Martin Singer's office had me shaking as I had something to lose then. The threat made it seem like we really messed up. With all the parties involved, it took a bit to understand what they were even talking about. Come to find out, a different attorney I had look at this said the statute they said we supposedly violated in the threat from Singer wasn't applicable to what we supposedly even did. This whole thing was a complete shit show, and Kardashian/Jenner made tons of money for years off of it. I lost everything. She could have said, in light of this thing with Narayan, I'd like to part ways and buy the Kimoji trademark, done and done. We would have walked and kept pushing our Sensogram app. Without securing the patent for the process, it was dead. Yeah, not going to do that, is she? Why do that when you're a billionaire and you can just crush people legally and they just can't continue because they don't have the money, and then make you also go into debt and live in your car to pay back the legal fees that they spent crushing you while stealing all your stuff? Why would they let you keep anything or pay you for the Kimoji or any of your work? Without securing the patent for the process, it was dead. Then the entire investment was gone. Legal fees for this and the patent was wasted. Personal issues and lack of funds stemming from all of this has made a comeback. Refiling of the lawsuit incredibly hard. Hearing Kanye's song Facts, where he says, plus Kimoji just shut down the App Store, we made $1 million a minute. Oh man, he's even pulling up Kanye West song lyrics. That's when you know you've really done fucked up. It's really tough to avoid getting triggered when they are everywhere on TV and music. On to Sensogram and how Kim interfered with a talk we had with a shark from Shark Tank, the TV show. She said she knew this person personally and would talk to them. I have the email proving this, putting her on the spot, but it also includes the shark, so I may hold off on adding that name for now. I put a screenshot of Sensogram above. We were on the App Store for a while and had thousands of users. I lived in Oklahoma at that time, and the news channels there did stories on Sensogram. Then years later, they covered the lawsuit. More to come later. I'll try and update site 2 to 3 times a day. So this must have just come up, at least not long ago, and that's why we're seeing this now. Mental story. And these are obviously the Kimojis. I hate that this exists. I actually hate it. There's screenshots in here as well. Would the 50% be willing to give something up, trying to figure out a deal for something me, you, and Kim? She can make huge and get us to 100 mil. So promising big amounts of money, we'll get 100 mil and then just steal everything and bury you in legal debt because they can just fight this forever with how much money they've got. So yeah, just another example of just these absolute fucking slimes in society that are followed by millions of people and looked up to, just being the best influencers on our society. Really fantastic that we elevate these people into these positions. It's great. Can't wait for the meteor to come, waiting with open arms. But there we go. Thanks for watching as always. See you next time. Peace out.